Welcome back to Football Daily. It looks like the European Super League won't be going ahead, at least in its initially proposed format, after the 6 English clubs made moves to pull out of the competition. But which players spoke out against the ESL from the outset? Let's find out. Ander Herrera. The first high-profile footballer to say something publicly was PSG's Ander Herrera. With the French club not being announced as one of the founding members, although it was later revealed they had an extra 14 days to make a decision on whether or not they'd like to join the ESL, it was always going to be easier for one of their players to take a stand. Herrera's statement, posted 12 hours after the announcement, read, "I fell in love with popular football, with the football of the fans. If the ESL advances, those dreams are over. The dreams of fans of teams that aren't giants being able to win the best competitions will end. I love football and cannot remain silent on this, which is nothing other than the most beautiful sport on the planet." And it seems his club are very much in the same mindset, despite their invitation to join the party. PSG chairman and CEO Nasser Al-Khelaifi was re-elected to UEFA's executive committee on Tuesday, saying PSG holds the firm belief that football is a game for everyone, a rare example of the Qatari-run club being in the headlines for the right reasons. Mesut Özil. Not long after Herrera, Mesut Özil took to social media to voice his outrage at the Super League plans, saying, "Kids grow up dreaming to win the World Cup and the Champions League, not the Super League. The enjoyment of the big games is that they only happen once or twice a year, not every week." Having only recently departed Arsenal after 8 years, the German playmaker was no doubt hurt by seeing the club sign up to the project, even if he didn't leave the Emirates on the best terms. Now at Fenerbahce, Özil is far away from the drama which has encapsulated the proposed Super League clubs, but the breakaway competition would also have grave effects for the top Turkish sides, who fight for 2 spots in the Champions League each year. However, the fact that none of them are eligible to enter straight into the Champions League group stage as of 2021 shows how the tide has already turned on clubs outside the top 5 leagues. With Europe's premier competition having become increasingly undemocratic over the years, there's still a lot for these clubs to be unhappy with. Bruno Fernandes. As it stands, Manchester United have come off one of the worst of all the English clubs, or the best, depending how you view it. Ed Woodward has stepped down from his role as executive vice chairman of the club, whilst there are rumours that the Glazer family could sell their shares as a direct result of the ESL's failure to launch. And as it happens, it was also one of their players that appeared to be one of the first to speak out against the project amongst the 12 clubs involved, as Bruno Fernandes, the best player for Manchester United this season and likely a favourite for the Premier League Player of the Year award, chimed in. The 26-year-old chose to repost an image initially sent by his former Sporting teammate and current Wolves winger Daniel Podence. Podence posted a picture of himself scoring in the Champions League with Olympiacos, accompanied with the caption mentioning some of the competition's most iconic moments, including Zidane's volley, United's comeback in '99 and Liverpool's in 2005. And when Bruno posted it on his own account, he added the words, "Dreams can't be bought." A simple sentence but a powerful message, as more players from the club involved began to speak out. According to The Athletic, Bruno was also one of the few players to speak out when they were consulted by Man United CEO Ed Woodward. Jordan Henderson. One of the ringleaders amongst the Premier League players these last few days is Liverpool captain Jordan Henderson. His club were apparently one of the main drivers behind the ESL project, with John Henry and the Fenway Sports Group, who also own the Boston Red Sox, having had meetings with other club chairmen regarding this as early as 2017. But it emerged on Tuesday that the England international had called for a meeting involving all 20 captains of the Premier League clubs, with the understanding that the vast majority of players had been blindsided by this announcement. However, since the announcement of the English teams pulling out of the agreement, this meeting did not go ahead, but it didn't stop the 30-year-old making sure that his and his teammates' voices were heard. At 9 PM on Tuesday, he and a host of his teammates posted the following statement on social media. "We don't like it and we don't want it. This is our collective position. Our commitment to this football club and its supporters is absolute and unconditional." A very clear message indeed. Patrick Bamford. Whilst this was all unfolding throughout Monday, there was of course still a Premier League game to be played that evening, featuring founder member Liverpool travelling to Leeds United. Naturally, those involved were asked about the ESL both before and after the match, which finished 1-1. From Leeds side, striker Patrick Bamford had the most compelling interview, discussing the money, the fans, and why there isn't a united response on other issues like racism. Let's take a look.
We've just seen pretty much what everyone else has seen on Twitter and stuff, and it's amazing, just like the things that they're talking about. I can't quite comprehend. I mean, it's amazing the amount of uproar as well that comes into the game when somebody's pockets are being hurt. So a shame it's not like that with all the things that go wrong at the minute, with racism and stuff like that. But it's just how it is at the minute.
James Milner. Following the game, where there were protests before and after the 90 minutes, Leeds players wore "Football is for the fan" shirts in their warm-up. Former White and current Liverpool midfielder James Milner also spoke up after the game. After Milner claimed that he had found out the same time as we did, he offered his own opinion on the proposals, with fans left in no uncertain terms about how the former England international felt.
I don't know, I think it's the same as everyone. There's a lot of questions. I can only say my personal opinion. I don't like it, and hopefully it doesn't happen.
Kevin De Bruyne. As it looked like clubs would start to drop out of ESL on Tuesday evening, more and more players started to speak out. Raheem Sterling tweeted a simple "OK bye" message, but one of the most emotive responses came from his teammate KDB, who echoed the sentiment of his manager Pep Guardiola, who said this.
A sport is not a sport when the relation between the effort and the success, the effort and reward don't exist. So it's not a sport. So it's not a sport of the success is already guaranteed. It's not a sport and it doesn't matter if you lose.
De Bruyne's statement was also tapped into the emotion. He said, "The man comes out a little town of Belgium dreaming of playing at the highest level. I have worked and competed against everybody trying to win the ultimate. But the most important word in this is competing. We know this is a business, but I am still a little boy who loves to play football. Let's keep inspiring the next generation and keep the fans dreaming." Marcus Rashford. Perhaps the biggest voice in English football over the past year has been that of Marcus Rashford. The Manchester United striker has taken on the UK government over free school meals and child poverty, fighting for working class people in Britain during the coronavirus pandemic with his activism and social media endeavours recognised with an MBE, the inaugural FIFA Foundation Award, and an appearance on the front cover of Time magazine. So when the 12 clubs announced their plans for the European Super League, many fans anticipated a public reaction from Rashford, even if his status as a United employee made it far from a guarantee. But eventually it came on the Tuesday afternoon, with the English forward posting a photo on Twitter of the famous Matt Busby quote, "Football is nothing without fans." A short yet powerful message which echoed the frustrations of the players who hadn't been consulted by Ed Woodward until the previous morning. Hours later, Man United teammate Luke Shaw made his feelings known in more comprehensive fashion, writing that he hadn't stopped thinking about the situation since it had come to light, and that he'd been working out how to express himself without causing issues within Old Trafford. The England international talked about his dreams of playing in the Premier League and the Champions League as a kid, and expressed concern about the impact that the Super League would have on the sport, especially following a year in which he and his teammates had been unable to play in front of any fans. He capped off the message by saying fans and players should always have a voice and their opinions should always be counted. Gary Neville. Okay, look, we're cheating a bit with this one, but as an ex-player, Gary Neville's immediate reaction to the Super League news set the tone for the backlash which greeted it over the ensuing days. Saving most of his anger for former employers Man United and their rivals Liverpool, with two English clubs most at the centre of the plans, Neville also reiterated his desire for the establishment of an independent regulator which can curb the power of such clubs and their billionaire owners. Along with Jamie Carragher, called for the football community to unite and oppose the Super League. But enough description, let's take a look at some of Neville's most incisive remarks.
It's an absolute disgrace, and honestly we have to wrestle back the power in this country from the clubs at the top of this league, and that includes my club. And I've been calling for 12 months as part of another group for an independent regulator to bring checks and balances in place to stop this happening. It's pure greed. They're imposters. They're imposters. They're nothing to do. The owners of this club, the owners of Liverpool, the owners of Chelsea, the owners of Manchester City, they're nothing to do with football in this country. There are 100 and odd years of history in this country from fans that have lived and loved these clubs, and they need protecting. The fans need protecting. I've benefited from football hugely. I've made money out of football. I invest money into a football club. Now, I'm not against money in football, but the principles and ethos of fair competition and the rights to play the game so that Leicester win the league, they go into the Champions League. Manchester United aren't even in the Champions League. Arsenal aren't even in the Champions League. You watched them earlier on today. They're absolute shambles of a football club at the moment. Tottenham aren't in the Champions League, and they want a God-given right to be in there. They're an absolute joke, and honestly, the time has come now. Independent regulator, stop these clubs having the power base. Enough is enough.
They have stepped over the mark. They are scavengers. And they need booting out of this football club and they need booting out of this country. And we have got to come together now. It might be too late. There'll be people at Manchester United, fans who were arguing 15 years ago, who will say it's too late. It's never too late. We have got to stop this. It is absolutely critical we do.
So that was 10 players who spoke out against the ESL. But what are your thoughts on the now doomed competition? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you later.